Now, in today's society, many of us are prone to think that whenever you buy something in this materialistic world, it has to be brand new. If you want new clothes, many of us are quick to go buy new clothes online. But what if I told you that new isn't always the way to go? When it comes to clothing, you can go thrifting and find the same, if not better clothes for half the price. Instead of trying to get the newest car that'll put you in debt, you can get a cheaper, older car that will still get you from point A to B. And instead of buying that expensive iPhone that really isn't worth the extra money, you can get a cheaper iPhone that'll give you the exact same experience and not cost over 800 bucks. So if you're looking to buy a new phone for your kid, grandma, cousin, or even save money by getting it for yourself, this video will help you decide if the iPhone 11 is worth buying in 2024. Now, in terms of design, the iPhone 11 still feels very sleek, has nice curves that complement its rounded exterior, and I still find it very comfortable to hold till this day. Going further into the feel in hand, it's a little bit more rounded than the iPhone 15, so it molded into my hand, resulting in a pretty comfortable feel that is my personal favorite. The front and back of the iPhone 11 is pretty durable. During my time of owning the iPhone 11, I only dropped it on my wooden floor, and it still has yet to have any major scratches, but I wouldn't trust dropping it on concrete. And one thing that I wanted to note was that I always appreciated older iPhone displays because when you compare them to newer iPhone displays, theirs are less likely to get unnecessary scratches, and they tend to be very, very durable. The materials on this phone still really good, yet premium. I've always loved the glass back because no matter how much time you have a phone, it'll always have that very smooth feel while looking good in the process. The only problem is that you'll have to keep cleaning it since it does attract more fingerprints, and the matte sides were also a nice touch that added a little bit more depth. The iPhone 11 is heavier than the iPhone 15. It weighs 194 grams while the iPhone 15 weighs 171 grams. Not too much of a difference, and again, in terms of aesthetics and feel, these two phones still feel a bit identical. And lastly, looking at the color, I have black. It still maintains that brand new look, and I also like the color and materials because no matter how dirty my phone would get, I would just wipe it off with a microfiber cloth and it looks as good as new. Now, taking a look at the front of the iPhone 11, it has a 6.1-inch LCD display that is still holding up very well, and I think it looks really good when you compare it to the budget phones of today. The brightness was subpar. It reached up to 625 nits, but my expectations aren't that high since this is an older iPhone and it's priced around 150 to 250 bucks depending on where you get it. The old school notch didn't bother me at all. It was small and it didn't get in the way too much. The viewing experience is still very satisfying. The screen was surprisingly still vibrant and gave a kick of realism, and gaming really brought out the resolution, especially when I was playing something like Asphalt 9 or Call of Duty. Watching content and movies on it was great as well. Yes, it does have a 720p display instead of a 1080p, but if you look at it in person, it still looks really good. A lot of times we get caught up in specs, but I always tell people that before you judge, you just have to use the phone in person to see if the spec actually bothers you. The 60Hz refresh rate was pretty good. Apple has always been able to make smooth feeling 60Hz screens, and since the iPhone 11 is cheaper and older, I will give it a pass. The 11 has a good amount of screen real estate due to the notch being a little bit smaller. I felt damn near every bit of its 6.inch display since the bezels were small as well, and the display was also flat, so there was no shortage. Face ID was surprisingly comparable to the iPhone 15, and year after year, Apple has solidified themselves as having the best Face ID for almost 5 years now. Now, moving on to battery, the iPhone 11 has a 3900 mAh battery that can last you all day, but not if you're a power freak. And when I say power freak, I mean someone whose eyes are literally glued to their screen 24/7. They're getting 8+ hours of screen time, and they can't live without their phone in their face. The 11 instead is a phone that can last you if you're someone who uses your phone a lot, but not too much. You check social media moderately, make some phone calls, use GPS to get to work, etc. And with medium usage, I usually get around 4 to 6 hours of screen time with mine, so I easily end my day with about 10% worth of battery, which is pretty good. I don't do too much. I just use my phone like the average person would. I also use my 30-watt charger for my iPhone 11. It will usually take me an hour and a half to charge to 100%, and I rarely charge it during the day, and I mostly charge it overnight. And overall, the iPhone 11 has a really good battery life that will fit your needs if you don't overdo it and use it like a regular phone. Now, in terms of power, the iPhone 11 has an A13 Bionic chip that is not only holding up very well, but is also very sharp and built for better efficiency. And I'm really happy that it was able to maintain proper cooling, great power within gaming, and handle damn near anything that you throw at it after almost 5 years. On a day-to-day basis, I'm recording, playing games, scrolling through social media, and many other regular things on my phone. I didn't notice a single slowdown and was very impressed. Now, looking at the camera, the iPhone 11 can seem pretty outdated, but when you get good lighting, it's been able to produce some high-quality pictures and videos, and it's also been able to prove certain aspects. The 11 has nice zoom photos, and it also provides good quality that is holding up pretty well when the lighting is right. The shutter speed is good. Per usual, I did my moving car test and I was able to capture most shots in time, and I'm very surprised that it's still better than newer Galaxy phones when it comes to the shutter speed. Now looking at outside photos, the selfies were good. I feel like I've been pretty hard on the selfies, but I really ended up enjoying them. The blur in the back was good, the sharpness was solid, and I also took some photos of different things in different environments, and this is where the 11 is at its strongest. The colors were punchy, the sharpness enhanced the photo, and this is still a really good camera. Inside photos were pretty good as well. The sharpness stayed the same. It had a pretty good brightness that held up well. Objects looked great when the lighting was really good, and I was still very impressed. And now when it comes to shooting video, to no surprise, the iPhone 11 is worse than the iPhone 15, but it is better than some budget phones in the market, and I personally think that the quality has held up pretty great. But there are times where it does look bad when the lighting isn't great, but other than that, it's still doing well. The video stabilization was solid. There are not that many modes that you can choose from if you want to get creative, but again, this phone is pretty outdated and you can still get some solid photos out of it. So all in all, the iPhone 11 has a really solid camera that has some good consistency, quality pictures, nice stabilization, and is doing good for a 5-year-old phone. And also, here's some extra videos that I was able to get. And alright you guys, that's my review on the iPhone 11 after 5 years of use. It's a really good phone, but I think that the iPhone 12 is a better buy since they both are going for around the same price. If the 11 was $100 cheaper, I would say go for it, but since the iPhone 11 is the same as the iPhone 12, it's really not worth it since you'll get less updates and a more outdated hardware. And let me know down in the comments, do you guys think that the iPhone 11 is worth buying in 2024? Let me know. And if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.